Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. Our lead story of the day is regarding a third batch of classified documents were found at Joe Biden's home. No, folks, I am not kidding. The saga continues of GarageGate. Not only did they find a first batch of documents that they neglected to tell anybody about until reporters ousted them, and then they went to a White House press briefing and were asking questions about that batch as to why you're not being transparent. Why'd you not tell anybody about it? And then while they were in that press briefing, they knew about a second set of classified documents that they didn't tell anybody about, which the press lost it. So let's do a little bit of a recap here, and then we'll get into the third set of classified documents, folks. This one is nuts as always. Support us by hitting that like and subscribe button. Also leaving us a short, sweet comment down below, along with double checking to make sure YouTube did not go into your profile and change that bell notification to say personalized, because it's supposed to say all notifications. Double check to make sure they didn't do any shady business, because heck, we know they're prone to do that, just like this Biden administration. Well, if you recall, we're going to go a few days back to where Jean-Pierre was being questioned about the first set of documents that were ousted and released to everybody to know about, although they didn't let the American public know. The reporters, the press had to let us know. Well, here's this question from Phil Mattingly of CNN asking her, hey, are there any other documents out there in the ether? This is before we knew about the second set. Let's go ahead and roll it.
Thanks, Crane. Just to follow up on Franco's question, given the position you're holding right now, there are no assurances you can provide at this point that there are no other classified documents out there in any other office and or home.
Again, this is an ongoing process, so I'm going to let the process continue. It is being reviewed by the Department of Justice, and I'm just going to leave it there.
So we want to pause it there, because at this moment in time, the White House knew about the second set of classified documents. So now was a prime opportunity for them to get on the podium and say, hey, not only did we find a first set, but as of right now, we have a second set to disclose to all of you. Mind you, this was on January 11th that this press briefing took place. They knew about both sets of classified documents as far as in December and didn't let anybody know. The first set they knew as far back as November before the midterms and didn't let anybody know. So you have Phil Mattingly again the next day on January 12th questioning Jean-Pierre about what happened. You had a prime opportunity to tell us about the second set of classified documents that you weren't transparent about. What's going on? He's a little confused, and she tries to unconfuse him. Let's go ahead and roll it.
I just want to square something that Chris was asking about. The review was underway when you guys gave a detailed statement about the first set of documents. The review was underway when the president spoke about the first set of documents. You're now saying that you didn't talk about the second set of documents, discovered almost a month prior, because a review was underway. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense.
No,
the review was underway the entire time. The only difference was that reporters had information on the first set of documents, and therefore you chose to exclude the second set of documents until reporters got information on the second set of documents.
Well, let me unconfuse you for a second, Phil. Look, we are trying to do this by the book. And I said yesterday this was under review by the Department of Justice. And the process is as such. When the president's lawyers realized that the documents existed, that they were there, they reached out to the archives. They reached out to the Department of Justice. Rightfully so, may I add. That is what you're supposed to do as lawyers. That's what they did. And they have fully been cooperating with the Department of Justice. And again, I said this earlier in answering a question. You heard from the Attorney General. He said shortly after the documents were discovered, that we did outreach. The president's lawyers did.
So Jean-Pierre tries to unconfuse Phil Mattingly and supposedly everybody else in the room, even though everybody else is now more confused than they were when they walked into the room. And you also have to love the fact that she keeps talking about this process, but then when Philip Wegman of Real Clear Politics asks her about this very process, her answer is, well, the process is the process. So she's going to answer questions that she just came up with out of her own head, and then everybody else is walking out more confused. So to add an extra layer onto this confusion and then just the whole debacle and saga of the entire thing, a third set of classified documents were found Thursday, and everybody was notified about it on Saturday. So there is a possibility, you guys, which makes things even more crazy, that the White House would have known about this third set of classified documents during that same press briefing that we just watched. So if you recall, on 1-11, Wednesday, they were having a press briefing going, why did you not tell us about the first set of documents? And it was during that same press briefing on 1-11 that the White House knew about the second set of classified documents, but didn't tell anybody about it. So then when we go into 1-12 the next day, everybody's asking, why didn't you tell us during that other press briefing why there was a second set of classified documents? And that's what we just watched. Well, the process is the process. We're the most transparent administration that's ever been. No joke, during that same press briefing, there is a possibility that they knew about a third set of classified documents and neglected to tell anybody again. And no joke, it comes Friday. Friday, there was a White House press briefing on 1-13 that they could have told everybody there was a third set of classified documents and they didn't tell anybody about it. You can't make this up. But they keep telling us they're transparent. They keep telling us that they're doing everything right. Nothing to see here. So a special counsel to the president, Richard Sauber, disclosed in a statement that 5 additional pages of classified documents with markings were found at Biden's home Thursday evening, making a total of 6 classified documents retrieved from there. Again, the timetable's all over the place. They could have known, especially by Friday when there was a briefing where she didn't answer or take any of Peter Doocy's questions, that they knew about this but didn't disclose it to everybody else. They waited till Saturday. Quote, because I have a security clearance, I went to Wilmington Thursday evening to facilitate providing the document the president's personal counsel found on Wednesday to the Justice Department. While I was transferring it to the DOJ officials who accompanied me, 5 additional pages with classification marks were discovered among that material with it for a total of 6 pages. The DOJ officials with me immediately took possession of them. Additional classified documents were found in Biden's garage at the Penn Biden Center in Washington, D.C. The discoveries have led to accusations from Republicans that Biden mishandled classified materials in the same way former President Donald Trump did, and he was being accused of doing so. Well, again, here's the timetable, you guys, because this is really important, because there could be some cover-up here, and Jean-Pierre very well could be lying to us. On Monday, the Biden White House revealed the first time that on November 2nd, 2022, before the midterms, the president's personal lawyers were picking and packing files from his old office at the Penn Biden Center for Diplomacy and Global Engagement, a think tank founded in 2018 by the University of Pennsylvania. When they discovered the documents with classified markings in a locked closet dated from the time Biden served as vice president under Barack Obama's time, the classified materials were immediately overturned to the National Archives, the White House said, which is a good thing. We'll give credit where credit's due. That is good. November 2nd, we didn't find out about this until literally last week. And we could have been told about this before the midterms, which could have swung things, but they neglected to do so. Then at the same time, the messaging last week was all about, hey, we're being transparent, we're transparent this, transparent that, even though they weren't. Check this out. On November 4th, the National Archives Inspector General informed the Department of Justice of a discovery and Garland appointed U.S. Attorney John Lausch to begin an initial investigation. Then in December, Biden's personal attorney, Robert Bauer, informed Lausch that a second set of classified documents was found in Biden's garage, which was the briefing about last week as well. Then on Wednesday, Biden's attorney found one more classified document at his Wilmington residence, and Sauber discovered the 5 latest documents on Thursday. That same day, Garland tapped Robert K. Hur, a former U.S. attorney, to serve a special counsel to investigate Biden's handling of classified materials. Quote, I am confident that Mr. Hur will carry out his responsibility in an even-handed and urgent manner and in accordance with the highest traditions of this department. Now, I've already watched Friday's press briefing. That's going to be on Monday's episode, and we're going to disclose in that episode, did Jean-Pierre actually say or mention anything to the press about this third set of classified documents? Because she doesn't take Peter Doocy's question. Why not? Why is she running away from the press? All the while, she still, in that same press briefing, says that they're the most transparent administration that ever was, that they're following the process. And she's also asked again multiple times in that same press briefing, what is the process? We'll see if she gives an answer, folks. Look out for that episode tomorrow, Monday morning, because it's going to be a banger of one. You know how it goes here with the saga of these classified documents. Well, folks, a third set, as I mentioned, was found. It wasn't disclosed on Thursday because maybe they found it too late. We'll put that in air quotes because we don't really know. They continue to lie and mislead us all the time, not just us, but the press as well. And then they didn't mention it during Friday's press briefing, which they knew about it. They had to have known about it because it was found Thursday evening, unless they neglected to tell Jean-Pierre and everybody else that are part of her staff, which she couldn't tell anybody because heck, she didn't know about it. But why does that give any excuse to the rest of the White House admin for not releasing that information to all of us and then giving us to it Saturday, which is no news cycle Saturday, folks. Nobody does this stuff on the weekends other than us, really. So heck, thank God Fox News covers it. But let me know what you think about this, folks. Like I said, it continues to play out. And that's what we said last week. There could be more questions about this whole thing. Thank God we had Philip Wegman ask, hey, are there any more documents out there? And of course she doesn't answer the question. And we said, there's a possibility. That's why it was a big question. There's a possibility there was. And there is, folks. As always, support us by hitting that like and subscribe button, leaving us a short, sweet comment down below. And folks, we'll sing you with a banger of an episode tomorrow here on The Paul Brad Show.